Well, life as we know it will never ever be the same on Earth. It's such a wild time right now. Like, of course, we've been preparing for this. We've been knowing that this was going to happen. We've been waiting for the big shift, for the new Earth, for all of this to start, actually happening, where the new Earth emerges, where the timeline splits, where all these things that have been in channeled messages, revealed under hypnosis and like books written about it, the new Earth, like all of this, we've known this has been happening, but now that it's actually here, it's like, holy shit, it's actually here. It's actually happening in front of us. And so right now, I feel like if you found this message, there's going to be certain synchronicities for you that maybe either give you permission to accept that thought that you've been having, or it gives you a code that you've been looking for along your journey. But a lot of this, is a reminder of what you're doing here on Earth, a reminder of where you came from, and a reminder of where we're headed. And so right now, it's wild to see this darkness being revealed. It's wild to see how, the minds of humans have been so infiltrated, but that's been an awareness on Earth for so long. Like when we look at the law of one, the material of the law of one, that was channeled messages within was it the 1960s? It was around that time. And it was a man and a woman, and they started receiving these channeled, I think they were husband and wife, they started receiving these channeled messages from Ra. And it was talking about that information that came through, talked about how there are service to self and service to others. And then we're also in this natural progression of ascension. That's what we're doing here. That's why we chose Earth. That's, the point is to help in Earth's natural ascension, which is happening. We're moving, 5D, we're moving through away from that identity self, that 3D, and then into the heart space. But we're also going through that ourselves. We're going through our own ascension process. And we look at certain beings that have been here to Earth, and they were at a higher ascension process, but they came to a lower ascension process planet, like Jesus. In the book, in the material, The Law of One, it talks about how Jesus was 6-dimensional, I believe. There, I feel, are many of us who are that here on Earth and embody maybe codes from that. And we're here to help in the shift by being that, being the pioneer, being the lighthouse for that natural progression to unfold. With that, there's the service to self, service to others. So the service to others, the goal, and we talk about this a lot on this channel, so if you're new here, subscribe, but the goal of service to others is enslavement. And we are seeing that. That's exactly what service to others have been doing. The minds that have been infiltrated by service to others. Ultimately, we are from the one infinite consciousness. We are all from the one infinite consciousness. I feel that's true. That's taught in the Law of One. And so even though, there are these bad people, I've never ever felt that there are bad people. I don't think that we're born bad. I don't think so. That doesn't feel in resonance. But I do feel that as we become susceptible, and maybe it's part of our karmic agreement or something, but at certain points, certain individuals, certain expressions of the one infinite consciousness do become susceptible or vulnerable to having their mind infiltrated to be service to others, or service to self. And that's what I meant earlier, when the point of service to self is to enslave. And so these service to self beings that are infiltrations are moving through Earth, or have been moving through Earth, doing these very strange things that have just ultimately kept us in this system of having to play by their rules, their pendulums. The pendulums have been, coming up in conversation a lot recently as well in my videos. Pendulums come from, why am I having such a hard time with words in this? Pendulums come from reality transurfing, the book Reality Transurfing. So it's interesting, actually, a little side tangent, but there, you guys know, if you follow and subscribe here, this house in Portugal has some mold, and one of my biggest catalysts to learning what I have learned in my human experience was mold toxicity, Lyme disease. And so I decided not to leave right away from this contract that I have at this house, and to really like go inwards and do regulation and heal in this environment so that I can move forward. However, the mold is just like, it is quite visible now, and I don't want to treat it, because every time I have it cleaned, which is not professionally cleaned, it's just like the cleaning ladies, they have their cleaning ladies, the owners have the cleaning ladies clean it, which is not good for them. And every time they do it, it releases spores into the air. And even if I use my ozone machine, which I travel with, and then my air purifier, and then also have the dehumidifier, blah, 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 it still makes me really sick. And so yeah, I'm like, well, do I want to stay 3 more months, or do I want to start looking for the next thing? So I'm just kind of now planting that seed. That literally was just a thought that was happening before this video, as I noticed like where there's certain areas of more mold. However, even though there's a ton of toxic mold in this house and in houses in general in Portugal, it seems to be very common with how humid it is in the winters, and how, you know, there's not really good airflow in the houses, like there's no air system or anything. And anyway, even with that, my HRV has been like through the roof high. So a way that you can tell if you are potentially living in toxic mold or having some kind of underlying health condition is by looking at your HRV. I use Aura, not sponsored at all. It's just like, that's how I track. And it has the highest percentage of accuracy based off of like wearables from the research that I did, compared to like Garmin, Apple, Whoop, like all that, and lowest EMF. You can like turn off the Bluetooth. So I use Aura. So it's been telling me that my HRV has been like average this past week, like 130, which is very, very, very high. Before it was like 90 when I was just doing a low histamine diet and my brainer training. And then I started doing a carnivore diet, which again, I don't recommend. I don't want to promote it, because I'm an animal lover, and I don't like this part of it, but at the same time, I feel really like in a sacred union with the animals that are providing this healing to me. And so I'm just trusting the process, because I've never had this with any kind of plant diet or cleanse or anything like that. But it's taken away the histamine in my diet. It has given, I guess, my gut a really great chance at healing and not having any carbs to feed any potential bacteria, anything that would have been causing permeability and therefore causing potential mast cell, because we have a lot of mast cells in the gut. And so I'm following this carnivore diet. I'm doing my brainer training through NŌVÉ, my new app, which is like, it's so powerful, uses your own voice, and it gives you personalized, customized meditations, and you evolve with it, you go on a journey with it. It's like very quantum. It's a very strong tool for ascension, for this new earth. Like, I think it's a very instrumental part of the new earth and part of the paths of us who come together in these kind of videos, of stepping into the chosen timeline and like moving through all that 3D bullshit and limitation and lack and illusion and distortion of truth. So if you want to join as a founding member, the doors to founding members are going to close soon, because I'm about ready, almost getting close, to open the app up to the founding members. So you will have a private community of the founding members on a WhatsApp chat. And so in there, you will have support from me, and we will try out the app, go on the journey together. And then as soon as we have kind of done all that together, then I will launch it to the public. So if you want to sign up as the public, then you can sign up for the wait list, which will also be linked below. Super excited about it. So I've been doing my health brainer training through NŌVÉ, through the app, and doing this diet. And so HRV, like, incredibly high, even though the environment is not ideal at all, which is just fascinating to me, because last time originally when I would live in environments like this is how I got chronically ill and like, you know, nearly lost my life. It's a really weird situation to be in right now. And I know I need to find something new. So I am on the hunt of wherever that is. I'm not sure if it'll be Portugal, Italy, or, you know, maybe I get the van fixed and then sell the van or get a different van or whatever. So these are kind of like the 3 things that I'm looking at. We shall see. So that was because I was losing my thought, because I think I was just like moving through all of that. But we have this service to self part of our reality that's being exposed. The other part that I found interesting that I noticed was when I was reading The Law of One a few years ago. It talks about how, like, when UFOs become visible on Earth, oftentimes it is the Orion group, the service to self entities, because it's not really necessary for the service to other extraterrestrials from other dimensions to come visit us through a UFO. Like, they can do it telepathically, they can do it in other ways, is what the material from my interpretation was saying. So very much in alignment with, oh, we're going to release this information about aliens, about UFOs. And so it's been talked about as well, how potentially they're going to release this information about aliens after releasing the files and exposing the darkness, and how, you know, things have been running with all this ritual, cannibalism, pedophile kind of stuff. And then we're going to disrupt the collective nervous system even further with aliens are real, aliens are invading, here's a UFO, there's a UFO, fear. I wouldn't give into any of that. Like, your free will is the most definite thing. If you see a UFO, like I potentially did in a video the other day when we were talking about all this, it's just, oh, there it is. And I choose with my free will that I'm protected. Thank you. And so it is. The same thing as, like, if you're in sleep paralysis and you feel like it's potentially like a being or something like taking over or whatever, controlling you, you command that you are divinely protected, that it has no influence over you, that with your free will, you are released and you are safe and you are sovereign. And from my experience of the people that I've talked to about this who have experienced that, that releases it and sets you free. Same thing with like any of these potential UFOs and service to self and blah, blah, blah. You use your free will to protect yourself. In my last video, I did a clearing of spells and pendulums and all of that. And oh yeah, I really wanted to share this example that I'm going to share next. But that was a super powerful clearing for myself, because I had done it that morning as well. And I've been doing it more and more the past few months since being here and getting these downloads about spells and about pendulums. And so people have DM'd me personally or commented on that video saying that was really powerful. So if you want to go to that, I think it's at like 27 minutes of my, not the last video, but the video before that. And so we are moving towards sovereignty. We're moving towards, you know, stepping into our fullness, into our wholeness, into connecting again, connecting with the truth being like that God energy, like that God intelligence is really what it is. And so the earth has that, we have that, food from the earth has that. Like when we're in our sovereignty and another person is in their sovereignty and we have a relationship, that is that God energy. Like we're coming back to what is real. Also, I don't feel like that means that we have to move away from technology. Like we don't have to just move to a farm and just like ditch technology completely. I think that there's a lot of quantum aspects to technology, to even AI, to crypto, to the potential of that serving us, but it has to serve us like that, not control us. And so in order to not be controlled, you have to bring all of this into awareness, bring all the intentions of certain things into awareness. Like there are, I feel, very strategic designs within certain things in technology to keep us distracted, to keep us enslaved, to keep feeding us propaganda of certain ideas and certain lifestyles, and so that we fall into the trap of these spells and of these pendulums. And so I do think that it is beneficial to take a little break from technology and to reframe what your relationship is with it, so that you can start manifesting the life that you desire and using everything as a tool to support you, creating pendulums around you that support you, and everything starts becoming part of that like funnel into your dream life, right? I know there's all this chaos and everything, but really this is like the most powerful opportunity I feel to use the power of the crumble, use the power of all this chaos and everything falling apart to throw all the shit you don't want into that and to step into this brand new moment. I'm getting the visual of like, what is her name from Game of Thrones? Super blonde, Daenerys. And so when I think she was Daenerys or Khaleesi at this point, she's Khaleesi. And so she's in the fire, that she lights the room on fire to kill the bad guys. And then she walks out and the fire is not burning her because it can't touch her. And like everybody is seeing the miracle of her true power, like how divinely powerful she is in her sovereignty. And so that's a visual. If you've watched, and I have chills, like nonstop chills. So if you've watched that episode, it's like incredibly, incredibly powerful. That's us right now. We are walking out of this fire and out of the fire that cannot burn us because it is part of us. It is like there for us to serve us. It is removing all the bullshit, all the distractions, all the spells, all the distortions, all the blah, 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 all the ways that we have fallen into the trap and enslavement of service to self entities, so that we're moving forward and we're saying, actually, we're more powerful than you because we're rooted in something that is true. We're rooted in the highest truth. We're rooted in God and God's intelligence, and we choose that with our free will. Nothing can hurt you when you're in that and in your power. The thing that I wanted to note on, it's kind of a funny example on manifesting and stepping into your chosen timeline and your dream life. I had this reminder of a time when I was in Rome, like 2 years ago. And I, for some reason, for a while, I fell into the pendulum, really, of Harry Styles. I know this is so random. I never normally feel any way about celebrities or musicians or famous people or anything. But for some reason, I like got kind of hooked into having a crush, like a celebrity crush on Harry Styles for a little bit. And it kind of like, it was just like in the background, my friends knew about it. I was like, he's so cute, blah, blah, blah. And my focus was on that for like a little bit. I really liked some of his songs, not all of them. There was like Sweet Creature I really liked. And then one other one, Fallen, something about Fallen. And so those two were my favorite. And then when I was in Rome, I had manifested him. And he was standing next to me and looking at my dogs. And I was like, that's Harry Styles. After like months, or it was like a year maybe of this like crush, because it started in California and then I moved to Europe. But I was looking at him, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Harry Styles, but he has short hair now. And he didn't have short hair like in the media or anything. It wasn't like released. And so I was like, huh. And then we crossed the street at the same time and I was walking behind him and I was just kind of like running through my head. I'm like, is that him? And like, of course there was like certain aspects of attachment within my being because of that, like that pendulum kind of crush, because there's like that fangirl pendulum about him, around him. And so he was walking and I think he noticed that I noticed him. So he was like fast walking and like kind of running away from me. And then he like ducked into a store. And from my perspective, how I saw this playing out is like, it felt like he was hiding from me, even though we were both walking in the same direction. But he's probably so used to having to do that with girl fans. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna walk to my Airbnb. And like, that was that. I saw Harry Styles. And so I think I was being shown that as soon as I woke up this morning, because that is how it is with any manifestation. So we have something on our mind that we want to manifest, like a dream house, dream income, dream job, dream love, dream whatever. And oftentimes like we're focusing on it, right? But we also have the attachment. So we attract it into our life, but then the attachment repels it. And I was shown like how when I was in California, I was really deep down craving to have my own platform like this, YouTube. I've wanted to do YouTube since the beginning of my health journey, 2014. And like when I really started healing from other YouTubers and I got the download, like this is for me. And so I was like, I really want to have a platform. I really want to share my story, my message, everything that I've learned. Like this is what I want to be doing. I want to be in the health and spiritual space. Like that's what I want to be doing. instead, with divine purpose as well, but instead I manifested a job where I was like at first the customer service person, and then I was the producer, creative director, brand manager of this supplement brand. The supplement brand was like a very much influencer type thing where we had a lot of influencers. And so I would work with a lot of influencers and go to their house and direct the content and the whatever, write the scripts and everything. I was pretty much doing everything, even though I don't write scripts now. I just like go for it intuitively. I was doing everything that I wanted to be doing for myself, but for other people. And I was working with people, you know, who had like 12 million followers, subscribers, or millions, and like really successful in their craft. And I was like, I'm so close to what I want to be doing. And like, I can see it. I'm in their home, their luxurious, abundant dream homes. And like, I want to manifest my dream home. I want to make content in my dream home, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, it's so weird. I'm here, but I'm not. Like, it's so close, but it's like kind of running away from me, like Harry Styles. But it was because of that attachment that I had to it, to the idea of it. I had this attachment to, you know, having a platform, to having my dream life, to having the freedom to, you know, live wherever I want, do whatever I want, create however I want, and to having, you know, brands want to work with me and like blah, blah. And so as soon as I really acknowledged that attachment and how that attachment was repelling the things that I truly desire, that is when I started moving into sovereignty. That is when I started moving into my own path. Like, that is when I started being able to manifest everything that I truly desire. You know, creating the app, which is like a super sacred creation. Like, I don't know if I have the words to explain this app, because it is everything that I've ever learned, you know, in health and manifestation, brain retraining, brain rewiring. Like, so there's so many layers to what this app is, and that it is like, it's sovereign. It feels like a very sovereign creation. And so when I finally was like, okay, it's not that I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this dream life, I want my Harry Styles. Like, it's not that. It's, I'm sovereign, and any idea that is placed on my mind and my heart is meant for me. And God's already planned the way. The source has already like created the way. Every problem that I face already has a solution to it. I don't have to lean into fear. I don't have to lean into, you know, lack. I don't have to lean into worry. I just have to follow what it feels like to be in my sovereignty, follow the joy, follow the curiosity, commit myself, be disciplined, and allow everything to fall into place. Like, creating the app, for example, it's not easy. It's actually so much more work than I ever would have imagined when I first started doing it. But I'm committed and I'm disciplined to it. And so that commitment and discipline allows the rest of it all to be channeled into it, and allows it to be what it needs to be. I focus on, you know, is my mind telling me to be distracted? Am I falling into a pendulum thinking like, oh, I need to do other things. I need to focus on this, or I should just rest. I should, you know, go start a new book series. And it's like, there's a time for that, and there's a time for this. And I share that because I feel like that's really relevant to right now, creating your dream life in this crumble, to birthing what it is that you are meant to be birthing right now in this crumble, this collective crumble. Like, even though there's so many memes about this online right now, maybe you guys have seen them, but they're like this fiery kind of background of chaos, and it's like me just focusing on the things that I love while the world is like to shit, and like the guy's like making sourdough bread, or like, you know, whatever, a girl's building her business, and like there's a bunch of craziness behind her. And that's kind of what this is. This message is that exactly. It's, you don't have to lean into the fear, into the worry, and everything of what's going on collectively. That was already set. That was supposed to happen. That is meant to happen in the way that it is. As unfortunate and, you know, horrific and all these things that it is, that will work itself out. It will. And like, it's meant to have the contrast. It's meant to be this way. And unless it's like your actual like professional expertise to solve that, then your energy doesn't need to be there. Your energy right now is best spent coming back to your sovereignty. It does take energy to break the pendulums, to break the spells, to redirect your focus. Like I've been saying a lot recently, like your attention is one of the things that companies spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on to get. Your attention is your most valuable thing. Companies want it. People want it. People want your attention. Where you put your attention is so valuable. If you're putting your attention on random shit that you're scrolling through on social media, if you're putting your attention on random drama of like a family member or like a friend's, or like you're letting people just like use up your time in a way that you know is not supporting your growth, your health, your happiness, your peace, then it's time to use a little bit of energy and sever that and protect your boundaries and your peace. That's something that has also been coming through a lot this past week, especially, is I've had to make some very tough decisions. I've had to make some very, very, very tough decisions about my time, my energy, my space, and I had to say no to certain things and no to certain people because I choose right now to honor where I am in my journey and what is important to my health, to my business, to my momentum, to, my space, my environment, all this. And that required, letting some people down. That required, me facing any kind of people pleaser within me. But the response was really beautiful of the people that I had to let down. They were like, yeah, sometimes you just have to choose you. And so when you truly do make decisions out of that, oftentimes you will be surprised by how people respond and be like, yeah, of course. Like, that makes a lot of sense. And rather than like the mind will tell you, oh, they're going to hate me if I put up this boundary. Oh my gosh, everything's going to be, so hard if I tell them no, if I tell them I have to stop hanging out with them as much or like put up a boundary, whatever it is. But you'd be surprised. You create your reality based off of what you believe, what you think, and how you expect and anticipate outcomes to be. So it's easy peasy, right? I do think that our dream life is unfolding right now. I do think that this is like such a magical time. I do think that we are walking through the fire right now, untouched, unburned. The things that we thought were important to us, they might burn, they might not make it with us. The material things, the beliefs, all of that. But we're walking through the burning fire, naked, vulnerable, but sovereign. I'm always surprised by these messages too. So, wow. Let me know in the comments if that resonated with you. If you have anything to add to that or any experience with that. If you want to support this channel, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new here. Leave a comment if you feel called to do so. It really all supports my channel so much. If you really, really want to support the channel and you have a hype, you get 3 a week. So if you hype this video, that really helps my video get pushed out to a new audience. If you want to sign up as a founding member, that is going to be linked below for however long, not very much longer, like words. If you want to sign up for a Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis, that teaches you the method of how to use your own voice while you're sleeping to create your Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis outside of the app. But there will be a function inside the app where you can do that and a lot of other really amazing stuff. And I have 21-day programs, 12-week program, and some other things you can go check out in my links. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to have this space, this platform to share all these thoughts, all these ideas, all these lessons, to go on that journey of learn, teach, which also is talked about in the Law of One. That's potentially our purpose, is to learn or to teach what we have learned. So I will leave you with that, and I'll see you in the next video.